Friends, this is a video on chapter 54, a possible fate of India if right to recall etc. MRCM law drafts do not come in India. Right to recall party manifesto is on rahulmehta.com/301.htm. So what is the possible fate of India if right to recall law do not come? Whichever government comes, whether it is Rahul Gandhi or Narendra Modi, the order will improve. There is a difference between justice and order. Order will improve, that is, let us say today you go to government office, it takes 5 days of time and there is some confusion, you have to pay bribe to some clerk etc. to get things done. That will gradually go away, no matter who becomes PM, whether it is Narendra Modi or Rahul Gandhi. Why? Because of computerization. Because of computerization, some order will come at lower level administration because of putting camera. For example, corruption in traffic police. Lokpal or no Lokpal, Rahul Gandhi or Narendra Modi, the corruption in traffic police is bound to decrease. Why? Because now police has no option but to install camera because traffic accidents have increased leaps and bounds. Terrorism problem is also there. So putting camera at every corner is now inevitable, and once you have so many cameras, it becomes difficult for policemen to take bribe in public. Also, there is lot of pressure from wealthy individuals that they want discipline in traffic. Because accidents, when they happen, of course, if you look at the statistics, then more poor people die in accident than rich. Because a wealthy person will be generally having a good car etc. But many wealthy people have their sons driving motorcycle. So all said and done, now the wealthy elite does want good discipline in traffic. So through this way or that way, they will enforce discipline in traffic. And only way it can be done is by reducing corruption in traffic police, so that will decrease. So similarly, at all lower level of administration, because of computerization and because of putting camera at every places, the corruption is set to decrease. So order will improve, predictability will improve at lower scale. It is different from far long-term justice. For example, let us say tens of laws that are coming up that make it impossible for a normal industrialist to compete against somebody in SEZ. Why? Because the person in SEZ, he doesn't have to pay income tax, doesn't have to pay excise, doesn't have to pay custom. The tax on his electricity is lower, so there is no way he can compete. So no way a person who is outside SEZ can compete against person who is inside SEZ. So it is not because he is inefficient person or he is a lazy person, but laws favor the person who is sitting in SEZ. So that is one example of bad law. Similarly, lack of wealth tax. Increasing VAT. VAT is a regressive tax. It hits harder on the person who has lesser income, means percentage wise. VAT tax, I have discussed this in my taxation related video. I request you to refer that. It's a regressive tax. So bad laws which are structurally bad, not at the periphery, like you have to bribe 50 rupees to a constable, those are peripheral. All the peripheral corruption will decrease, no matter who becomes PM. But the structural injustice, for example, there is tax of VAT, but there is no wealth tax, there is no inheritance tax, will remain. So what it will do is that because of those laws, the basic industrial efficiency will reduce, will not become equal to that of US or many other countries. US has very high industrial efficiency, and that is because of jury system and right to recall. So if these two laws don't come here, then our industrial efficiency will not become as good as USA. So the gap between the strength of USA and India will keep increasing. It has been increasing since 1945, and even today it is increasing. So as gap increases, India will be forced to become more and more dependent on US for technology, military goods and so forth. And so eventually US will convert India into a giant Philippines, or break India into 4 or 5 parts and convert each of them into a giant Philippines. And there are other scenarios too. See, again, guessing future is a wild game. Guessing future is a wild game. You decide what are the possible things that are going to go wrong and you start preparing for the future. How? By making laws that can deter the enemy, by making laws that can reduce the damage if and when enemy does attack, etc. But there is no point in evaluating a number, numeric probability, that what is the chance that China is going to attack India, 13%, 14%, 20% or 80%. Making such projection is a pointless activity because you don't have a large sample to decide. It is not possible to do. But one scenario, as I have discussed in two-front war, is that China will be pushed into corner when USA attacks and destroys and robs Iran. USA, sooner or later, it is going to attack Iran, it is going to rob Iran, and it is going to destroy whatever portion it cannot rob. Now China cannot afford that to happen, so it will enter into the war, and when the all funfair starts, USA has enough residual power in Pakistan that it can motivate Pakistan to attack India, and Pakistan will side with China in China versus US war, which will be fought on Iran's land. Pakistan will have to side with China and Iran. So using the residual power America has in Pakistan, it can motivate Pakistani generals, etc. to attack India. And when India is attacked, so it will be a royal two-front war, Pakistan and China on one side and India on another side. So India does not have weapons to defend as of now. Of course, if we get jury system, right to recall, then within 1 or 2 years, and weaponization of commons, then we will have all the weapons we need to defend ourselves, and we won't have to depend on West. But as the trend right now goes, if China attacks India, then India will have no choice but to fall at the feet of US, accept all its conditions, terms, conditions, and ask US to protect India. It has happened once, by the way. In 1962, Jawaharlal Ghazi, Prime Minister, officially wrote a letter to Kennedy that kindly send US Air Force into India to fight against China, protect Indian Army, etc., etc. Jawaharlal Ghazi had officially written a letter to Kennedy, and so that situation can come back again if China attacks today, and this time it could be worse because at that time China did not have good air force, China did not have laser guided bomb, China did not have laser guided missile. Today China has everything, and it has got by truckload. They manufacture laser guided missiles, they manufacture laser guided bomb, they manufacture cruise missiles, and they also manufacture low end fighter planes. So one way I see is that of the several future that India will become slave of US and USA will take over the mines, destroy mass science education and convert everyone into Christianity. Basically what US did in Philippines is what US will do in India. You can take a scenario of Philippines and that will tell you. So this is one possible scenario if right to recall law draft do not get printed in Gazette. It's a very daring scenario, and this time if we become slave, there may not be re-independence. Why? Because independence in 1947 came largely because of fight between British and Germans. Germans and Japanese on one side, British Americans on other side, and that was the reason why when Germany was attacking Britain's and France and all those countries, Britishers saw 10 years before, 5 years, 8 years before the war started, that now anytime war can happen. They did not know that war will happen with Germany. Britain was preparing for a war against Russia. I am talking of 1930s. So in 1930, Britain was preparing for a war against Russia, and he saw that lakhs of Britishers might die. The way Stalin was strengthening his industrial infrastructure and the way Germany was coming, they were also thinking of possibility of war against Germany. So in order to save British life, they gave training to lakhs and lakhs of Indian soldiers. And there was a possibility after Second World War over that if Britishers do not free India, then Indian soldiers will revolt. That revolt was imminent and Indian soldiers will start getting help from Russia. If Indian soldiers revolt and they get weapons from Russia, then Britishers would have been badly defeated. So independence largely came because threat that Russia was going to help the revolutionaries or rebels, and because of war against Germany and possibility of war against Russia, that Britishers gave training to so many Indian youth. This time if slavery comes, the Western countries are more or less united. For example, when USA decided to kill about 5 lakh Iraqis, no country helped Iraq. They all gave any verbal service, lip service, like France. It tried to bring a resolution in UN, as if resolution is going to save anybody. Russia started sending medicine to Iraq. What they needed was weapons. But what Russia sent was medicine and food and get well soon card and maybe flowers and all that nonsense. So, but no country really helped Saddam Hussein. China could have helped, but China also could not help much. Could not help any. Similarly, this time when USA attacked Libya, not even one country helped. Russia did not help. China wanted to help, but they were too far, no connectivity, etc. Same way, if this time America re-enslaves India, then no foreign country is going to help. America is not fearing any war from any dominant foreign country, that it will give training to lakhs and lakhs of Indian soldiers so that it is forced to give independence. So this time, if there is a re-enslavement, it could be forever. Which is why I request activists to think of law drafts which can strengthen the Indian military, not really the leader. Large number of activists say that we should not worry about law draft, we should rally behind Arvind Gandhi, make Arvind Gandhi Prime Minister, everything will be okay, or make Narendra Modi Prime Minister, everything will be okay. Well, it is trivially easy for paid media to destroy reputation of a leader. How? Look at Gadkari. His reputation in middle class is now finished. The scam could be right or wrong, or it could be exaggerated, but because of paid media, reputation of Gadkari is now over. So same way, we should rally behind laws which can strengthen Indian military and then which can save us from re-enslavement. And the laws I propose which can reduce the possibility of re-enslavement are right to recall, TCP, etc. Thank you.